tumultuous start to the season for Manchester United. 1 point from their opening 2 Premier League games, followed by that humiliating exit in the Carabao Cup at the hands of Grimsby Town. Kobbie, Manchester United have spent £200 million this summer. Brand new front three, Cunha, Mbeumo, Šeško. And yet, we're talking about a club in crisis. How is this happening?
Because it's Manchester United. Everything that happens at Manchester United is box office, it's back page news. I think in the old days on Fleet Street, sports editors used to say you can never go wrong by filling your pages full of stories about Manchester United. Basically what's happened is they got knocked out of the Carabao Cup in a game they drew and then they lost on penalties. The goalkeeper made some more mistakes. They played pretty well against Arsenal. I think it's not a crisis at any other club, but it's a crisis because it's Manchester United. Everything that happens at United is either a triumph or a crisis. It's always back page news. And I think Ruben Amorim, he's a very emotional person. He's a very honest person, but maybe he's underestimated how much everything he says and does is under the microscope and is going to get scrutinised and talked about, not just by us, but also on social media. But that's what happens when you're the manager of Manchester United.
Yeah, and a number of players are under the microscope as well, particularly ones that have been linked with a move away from Old Trafford before Monday's deadline. Here's what Ruben Amorim had to say about Kobbie Mainoo today.
I want Kobbie to stay. He needs to fight for his place, and we need Kobbie. So that is not going to change. The rest, I don't know how he's going to finish. I understand that the players that are not playing in this moment are disappointed, but everyone has the same, will have the same opportunity to play. You have to fight during the week.
So Ruben Amorim says Kobbie Mainoo has to fight for his place. He said that he wants to go on loan for the rest of this season to get more game time, Sky. Manchester United say, no, we don't want to do that. We're not going to countenance a loan move at all. If you were in the shoes of Mainoo's representatives, what kind of advice would you be giving him? And is the advice he's been given to make it clear he wants to go on loan the best advice?
Look, the first thing a good representative says to young players is you have to win your battles. If you don't try and win your battles, you're going to go somewhere else, and then if it doesn't work out for you, then you're going to be in the same scenario. I don't know what's going on at Manchester United. What's bloody going on? You know? I mean, why are these young players wanting to leave one of the biggest clubs in the world? For me, there's no excuse. They're one of the biggest clubs in the world. They've got unbelievable funding, incredible infrastructure. Other clubs shouldn't be competing at a higher level than them. And young players shouldn't want to leave a club like Man United. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but for one thing, I think that good young players should have Man United at the top of their list. And just an example of a young player saying, I want to leave, is not good PR. It's not a good image. You know, in my view, Man United should be trying to come to some kind of arrangement with Kobbie Mainoo for him to stay and be part of the team. Because young players leaving all the time is just not a good look.
James, Sky says young players should not be in a position where they want to leave Manchester United, but Kobbie Mainoo is not the only one, is he?
No, Alejandro Garnacho looks like he's going to go as well, but Rasmus HØJLUND, and I think Manchester United fans have a huge amount of sympathy for Rasmus HØJLUND because the start of pre-season he looked really good, but things changed very quickly as soon as Benjamin Sesko became a United player. It looks like he's going to travel to Naples in the next 24 to 48 hours. That's what Naples hope anyway. We're just waiting for the final bits to be agreed when it comes to personal terms. His representatives are in Naples right now. There's growing confidence that a full agreement can be reached. There's an agreement in principle that Rasmus HØJLUND will join Napoli on loan with an obligation to buy at the end of the season, and that obligation to buy in total, this will cost around £40 million, which is what Manchester United were looking for. And that obligation is dependent on Napoli qualifying for the Champions League. And bearing in mind they won Serie A last season, it seems likely that this is going to be a permanent exit for Rasmus Højlund. And the reason why there's sympathy is this guy came in 2 years ago to lead the line for Manchester United at such a young age after having an impressive spell at Atlanta where he scored 8 or 9 goals. He was never the right player to be leading the line for Manchester United, but because of the way things worked out of injuries and lack of signings, he had to lead the line. He was successful in Europe, in the Premier League not so much. I think in an ideal world, I think United would love to keep this player on the books and alone him come back after a season at AC Milan and reassess him and him come in and compete with Benjamin Sesko. But because of the business they've done, there is a need to bring in money, and £40 million does represent good business considering the 2 years that Højlund's been there for.
Yeah, and it's not just Rasmus Højlund, is it, that Manchester United are looking to sell or offload. Antony is one. Real Betis increasingly confident now that they can strike a deal alone with an obligation. That one could be worth over £30 million eventually. Tyrell Malacia, Elche, one of a number of clubs who are interested. He's got 1 year left on his contract, but United are happy to see him go on loan. Jadon Sancho, possibly the 4th or 5th transfer window in a row we are talking about him. He could yet remain at Manchester United because there doesn't seem to be anything as concrete as the other players just now. Roma are interested. There are Saudi clubs interested, Turkish clubs interested as well, but he doesn't seem anywhere closer to a move. Carve, James mentioned his name there at the top, Alejandro Garnacho. That one does look closer to departure, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the move that he wanted. Compromise was reached. Chelsea paying £40 million, probably a little bit more than Chelsea wanted to pay, a little bit less than United wanted. He's been having his medical today, and we're just waiting for official confirmation that he is now a Chelsea player.
So Chelsea for Garnacho, can you see them doing any more ins or outs?
Well, I think they're still in talks to sign a goalkeeper. The goalkeeper from Royal Antwerp, they're in talks to bring him in. I still think they need more. When you look at the way they've been performing, okay, they've totally changed their front line, but I still think they need, to look at the goalkeeping situation. Midfield as well doesn't look exactly right, but time's running out.
And what about Chelsea? Ins and outs there, potentially. You mentioned Garnacho. Do you think they can bring anyone else in, or
Chelsea?
On sales?
Chelsea are always spinning plates. They're always trading players. Players are coming. Players are going. I think there'll be more players coming in, more players going out. They're in talks to take Buonanotte from Brighton. Interesting deal for Chelsea to be taking a player on loan from Brighton. And Brighton saying this is just a loan, no option, no obligation. We're just sending him to Chelsea because he can't get into our side, but we think he'll get more game time at Chelsea. But I think obviously Chelsea missed out on Xavi Simons. They think financially this deal makes sense, and there's question marks over Cole Palmer's injury at the moment. So they do need another attacking midfielder, although when you look at their squad, Enzo Maresca has got plenty of other options as well.
The curtain is finally falling on one of Manchester United's most expensive and disappointing transfers. Antony, the 86-MOA signing who was once hailed as United's next superstar, is set to leave Old Trafford in a permanent 25 million move to Real Betis. United have accepted Betis's bid, which includes a 50% sell-on clause, but the deal now hangs on Antony agreeing personal terms. The Brazilian winger, who still has 2 years left on his contract, has already been given permission to travel to Seville for his medical. This move marks a stunning twist in Antony's turbulent career. Despite interest from Saudi Arabia, Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, and Bayer Leverkusen, the 25-year-old has made it clear his heart is in Spain and he only wants to return to Betis. And who can blame him? His short loan spell there last season revived his career with 9 goals in 24 starts, winning the fans' love and reigniting his confidence. But for Manchester United, this exit is a brutal reminder of failed expectations. The winger, who arrived with so much hype, leaves with just 12 goals in 96 appearances. a shadow of the star they believed they had signed. Now, all eyes turn to Seville. Will Antony find redemption at Betis and prove his critics wrong? Or will this be the final chapter in a career that never lived up to the promise? One thing is certain, Antony's United story is over, and Betis could be his salvation.